breaking news coming in on the India-EU deal, and I must take this immediately. It's a big India-EU trade deal which will be announced tomorrow. India-EU free trade agreement negotiations conclude, and there's an announcement that's expected tomorrow. Commerce Secretary Rajesh Agrawal has said a formal deal to be done after legal scrubbing. The deal will be balanced, it would be forward-looking, and it would help with better economic integration with the European Union. The deal will propel trade and investment between both sides. The deal will enter into force sometimes next year. 2027 is what we understand. Legal scrubbing of text to take at least 5 to 6 months. Formal signing of the deal would be post that. That's the information that's coming. I want to bring in our Foreign Affairs editor Geeta Mohan once again. Geeta, big statement. So you have a framework agreement, legal scrubbing to be done over the next 5 to 6 months. So benefits then would only come in much later.
Well, that's right. We did say that it'll take a few months for the entire legal scrubbing and the clearance from the EU Parliament to happen. And once that process is over is when the deal will kick in. But remember, this is not a bilateral. It's not a one country and another country coming together. It's 27 member states of European Union coming together with India on a free trade agreement. That's why it's being called the mother of all deals. And while we're talking about this, and the Commerce Secretary has posted that the announcement will be made tomorrow. It's just a matter of time. That's what's important. That things are not going to be left hanging. Things are not going to be left for a later year. It's going to be in a few months that there is going to be absolute clarity with which both sides are going to work towards ratification and then implementation. So that's the news that's coming in, and this even at a time, Gaurav, when America is watching this visit and this meeting and the announcement tomorrow very closely. In fact, Scott Bessent, not on one but on multiple occasions, has been repeatedly talking about the India-EU deal, saying that, well, we impose tariffs, but look, Europe is going and cracking a deal with India. So there is going to be some very strong reaction. Expect that from DC once the formal announcement is made tomorrow with the European presidents and Prime Minister Modi.
Okay, Geeta, stay with me. Let me also bring in Chetan Bhutani of Business Today joining us with more on this. So, Chetan, you've been speaking to your sources in the Commerce Ministry. For a very long time it was said this deal so near and yet so far. Are we moving closer but still so near and yet so far? Or now it's only the nuts and bolts and legal scrubbing that's an issue?
Well, Gaurav, it's just a matter of time, as my colleague Geeta just, highlighted this as, we're going to have this deal very closer and very sooner than later. In fact, at 1:15 and 1:30 p.m., we're going to have this formal announcement by the Prime Minister on the trade deal being announced. But the final nuances and the details would be emerging at about 4:30 p.m. when Piyush Goyal, the Minister of Commerce and Industry, Vikram Misri, Foreign Secretary, Rajesh Agrawal, the Commerce Secretary, and Marko, Sekovic, the EU Trade Commissioner, and the Director General of the Trade for EU would be conducting a joint press conference at the National Media Center, whereby the details would be announced and the fine nuances would be announced. So what all sectors are we addressing? We are addressing a whole lot of sectors. For example, the auto sector, the FTA conclusion and the framework. We are also addressing the agenda for deeper cooperation. The leaders may adopt a new strategic cooperation agenda that deepens ties across the broad pillars of prosperity, sustainability, technology and innovation, security and defense, automobile, mobility and professional exchange framework. So 4 to 5 key agenda items, what my sources are telling me in the Commerce Ministry, is supposed to be happening at around 4:30 p.m. But yes, 1:30 is when, 1:15 to 1:30 tomorrow is when the crucial engagement at the Hyderabad House happens. But the bigger deal would be around 4:30 p.m. and the joint press conference between the two countries happen at the National Media Center. So that will be the big thing to watch out for, Gaurav.
And keep tracking that story. I will come to Chetan and Geeta Mohan for more on the story.